Hi there, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Gardener. I'm your host, Jennifer Ebling. It's July 1st. Martagon lilies are in peak bloom right now in most gardens. They bring the most wonderful architectural aspect and form to the garden. They're so very elegant, offering a Turk's cap style bloom. Like many plants, Martagon colonies get better and better with age. Martagons like sweet soil, and they'll be grateful for a dusting of lime every year. Here's today's brevities. It was on this day in 1871 that the Yorkshire Herald reported the very first meeting of the Vale of York Field Naturalists Club. 47 ladies and gentlemen hopped aboard 3 four-horsed conveyances as they traveled to their destination, Rivaulx Abbey. Once the group arrived, they broke into small parties consisting of the geologists, the botanists, and the entomologists, and then they set out to examine the valley for their own specialties. The botanists collected nailwort, rock rose, clover dodder, columbine, belladonna or deadly nightshade, and a variety of ferns, including the northern beech fern, the oak fern, and the hart's tongue fern. When they were done collecting specimens, the group sat down to dinner at the Crown Hotel in Helmsley. And then they listened to a presentation about the beauties and the natural history of the Abbey. After they agreed that the next month's field day would be held at Bolton Abbey and Woods, they left for home, and the article said they felt it was a most agreeable day. And it was on this day in 1908 that Illinois adopted the violet as its state flower. As with many state flowers, Illinois had decided to let the school children of the state decide its state flower. The purple violet received 15,591 votes, and the wild rose came in second with almost 12,000 votes. The children also decided the state tree that day, and they selected the white oak. Meanwhile, newspapers were running a piece that blared the headline, "The Reign of the Violet is Over." Here's what it said: "Strange and unbelievable, but a fact nonetheless. Violets are no longer fashionable." Roses are much in favor at the moment, and the new flower hailing from Paris is the pink American Beauty. The color is an adorable shade of shell pink. And it was on this day in 1910 that the Allentown Democrat out of Allentown, Pennsylvania, reported that Joseph Hooker was 93 years old. The world-famous botanist had received a personal note of congratulations from King George. And the article said that Hooker was still remarkably active, that over the course of his career, Hooker had promoted an accurate knowledge of the floras and vegetables. For today's Unearthed Words, today's poem is by Anne Taylor, the English poet and literary critic. In her youth, she was a writer of verses for children, and her sister Jane wrote the words to "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star." Here's The Violet by Anne Taylor. Down in a green and shady bed, a modest violet grew. Its stalk was bent, it hung its head, as if to hide from view. And yet it was a lovely flower, its color bright and fair. It might have graced a rosy bower instead of hiding there. Then let me to the valley go, this pretty flower to see, that I may also learn to grow in sweet humility. Today's book recommendation is Tree in the House by Annabelle Hickson. Tree in the House is stunning, and it's an ode to flower arranging. And whether your occasion is big or small, Hickson offers ideas and instructions for how to harvest, arrange, and vase your flowers. For today's garden chore, divide your flag iris after they are done blooming. Division is important with iris. It actually reinvigorates the plant and keeps it healthy. It's best to divide your iris after they are done blooming. Lift out the entire clump and then use a knife to cut new rhizomes from the old. I trim back the leaves as well, in addition to some of the roots. And just a reminder that flag irises need full sun. Finally, here's something sweet to revive the little botanic spark in your heart. It was on this day in 1932 that newspapers around the world ran a fascinating article about the botanist Frank Kingdon Ward, titled Plant Explorer Finds Adventure. Here's what it said. Captain Frank Kingdon Ward, tall, well-built son of Britain, perhaps one of the world's most noted plant seekers, who has journeyed all over the world in search of rare flowers, has led a life as exciting as any explorer, and has given the world some of its most beautiful and rare blooms. Now in his late 40s, he is tanned from the winds and suns of tropical India, Asia, and the forbidden land of Tibet. His efforts in prying through thick jungles and climbing high mountains were rewarded in the discovery of a new species of slipper orchid said to be worth about $500. And on another of his Tibetan expeditions, he discovered the blue poppy, a flower that is sought by all horticulturalists in this country and obtained by few. The flower which Captain Kingdon Ward prizes most of all is the Campanula calicola. Kingdon Ward described it as the most beautiful rock plant I discovered. And in a book that Kingdon Ward wrote about his adventures in China and Asia, he said, "You may wander for days, ankle deep, through a chromatic surf of rhododendrons, rose pink, ivory white, lavender, plum purple, crimson, and amber yellow. They are woven into carpets of a queer design and ample pile, or form tuffets or hassocks or mere tangles, mats or brooms. They spread and sprawl everywhere, bushy and twigulous, all looming into flower together." Thanks for listening to The Daily Gardener, and remember, for a happy, healthy life, garden every day. The Daily Gardener is produced weekdays in lovely Maple Grove, Minnesota. You can find complete show notes over at thedailygardener.org, and be sure to share the show with your garden friends. You can find The Daily Gardener on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. While you're over at Facebook, don't forget to join the Daily Gardener community. Just search for Daily Gardener Community on Facebook and request to join. I'd love to meet you in the group. And before I forget, I want to give a special thank you to my team at Podfly Productions, where my fabulous editor is Eric Begay.